the weekend with distractions? Who wants to go first? Jennifer?
Sure. I was pretty good over the weekend, very good on Saturday. I was good yesterday until hubby decided we should go to dinner at Outback Steakhouse.
Okay.
And I was good. I had the salmon and asparagus. It was
Oh,
delightful. It was,
yeah.
I kept wondering, what is all this stuff on my food because it tastes so good. And then I had bread, but
Okay.
whatever. It was a
Okay.
nice dinner.
But you
So
did make two other good choices. You made two other good choices.
yep,
So let's just focus. Our focus is there. And you're back
yep.
with it today, right?
Back on top. Yep.
Okay.
I'm having my blueberries right now,
And
actually.
blueberries are good. Okay, Kristen.
Hello.
Hi. Tell me.
Um, so I was like a 4.75 yesterday. I did really well. I got really hungry at one point and had a little extra. I went off plan and had some almonds, but everything else I did really well on schedule, right portions, all of that. And but I was this morning I was up again, like a half a pound again. So I think my security guard is
Very sensitive.
on, yeah. And I was writing stuff down this morning in my book, my guidebook thing, and just it's like I need to trust the process. I know
Yes.
it's sort out. And so I was a little annoyed for a minute, but I was like, it's
Sure.
gonna, and I've been exercising and just feeling really good. Just
Great.
strength, clarity, my skin. So I was trying to
Yeah.
focus on the non scale side of things.
Right, right. That is so what we're going to talk about today. And the other thing is just putting it out there. Has anybody measured yet? Did anybody measure themselves yet? Measure the breast, below the breast, at the waist, between the space between your hips and at the lower part of your hips. If you can, measure your arms here, because even when we don't see the scale going down, will see things changing on our body, but that's just our physical element. But we do tend to look at the scale. Okay. I see we have the same hairdo.
You.
Okay. Catherine.
But I'm sorry, I just jumped on. So what did I
Oh,
miss?
it's just a scale of 5 to 1. How did you do
Yeah,
yesterday?
I would say 4. My timing was off a little bit. Yeah.
That's not bad for the weekend.
Yeah, not bad.
That can happen. Life happens and it's okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to jump on and share? Or maybe they're in the chat. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Angie's not able to come off at mute, and in case she said she got a 4.5 yesterday.
We've got
Angie
some
got a 4.
good things for the weekend. Good things. Well, I only went down 0.2, but I'm glad I didn't plateau. Just because I normally don't plateau until between day 8 and 11. Okay. So, okay. Okay, so it sounds like everybody's like following and really, and you're still here on day 6, and that's a big accomplishment to stay with that. Well, what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about, I can't see myself. Oh dear.
And while you're finding yourself, real quick, just want to call out. So Al says she got a 4.5 and she was off a little bit on times. And then
oh, Angie, yeah. Only down, okay, 0.22. But I'm happy with I'm content with where I'm at on day 6. I've lost 5 pounds total. I didn't share that Saturday, but yeah, I'm at 5 pounds. But what I'm going to talk about today, thank you, Angie. What I'm going to talk today is about this little 3x5 card and how it really helps me with my 5-day focus. And I want you guys to think about and declare, what is it you want to have happen during the detox time frame? What is it? Do you want a physical weight loss? Do you want the fact that you're drinking your water and that you have clarity in your mental thinking? Is it that you're getting sleep consistently? Because if we're not getting sleep consistently, it can mess with this detox. I forgot the other day over the weekend, and I put a bunch of lotion on. And we're not to use lotions during detox because it will grab that even. So oils and lotions. Okay. So some of the declarations that I have is, I do not live by bread alone. And I just wanted to go to our spiritual leg today a little bit. In Deuteronomy 8:3, it says, so he humbled you, allowed you to hunger, and fed you with manna, which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, that he might make you know that man shall not live by bread alone, but man lives by every word that proceeds from the mouth of the Lord. And then down further, I love this. Therefore, in verse, I think it's six, therefore you shall keep the commandments of the Lord your God, to walk in his ways and to fear him. For the Lord your God is bringing you into a new good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains and springs that flow out of valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley, of vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of olive oil and honey, a land in which you will eat bread without scarcity, and in which you will lack nothing. I love that. Because we get hung up with the distraction of we're being held, something being withheld from us when we're in detox. We've got to shift, like Miss Irma said, shift our thinking that it's not scarcity. And like Angie says, it's just delay. It's not denial. It's not denial. And so the other thing that I have on my 5-day card here is, I walk in freedom. We walk in freedom. And of course, my mantra is Jesus and pickles, Jesus and pickles, because when I'm struggling, I just need more Jesus, and I will sometimes resort to pickles. And who is our enemy? What is our enemy? What is our enemy? What is your enemy? What is your obstacle? Maybe put that on your chat line, or raise your hand if you want to talk about, have you identified your obstacle today? What do you think is going to be an obstacle, and how can we work around that or work through it? Anybody?
I don't exactly know how to put words to my enemy, but it's something like indulgence or immature, in that it's like, I want what I want right now. I don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
Instead
Yes.
of, it's okay to be uncomfortable. That's formational, and I'm not, it's delay, it's not denial, all of that. So, yeah, that's just some thoughts, kind of thinking out loud for a minute.
Those are just perfect, because I felt the same way yesterday. It was like, why am I thinking those thoughts? We've got to renew our mind. And I listened to Esther talk about how there's ruts in the ground. When you come in the driveway, maybe you've got a gravel driveway, and there's ruts in those driveways because you come in and you do the same thing over and over again. Well, what we're doing when we think those thoughts, we do choose what those thoughts are. We're making those indentions in our brain. It's called neuroplasticity, but we've got to change it. We've got to make a new path. We're forming new paths, new pathways. And just like you take a piece of paper and you fold it, and when you first fold it, it's kind of, it's creased, but do it about 10 times and that crease is there. So what does that tell? That tells us the same thing with our thoughts. What are we thinking? and what is, like Angie says, what is our relationship with food? And it is not, it has been an indulgence in the past. And we do want it now. We don't want to delay. Everything's instant in our society. And so we've got to know that we do not want to prescribe to the victim magazine. That's it. We don't want to be prescribing to the victim magazine. So what do we need to prescribe to? What would be the name of your magazine? I haven't thought of it, but does anybody else have a thought for our name of our magazine?
My magazine's going to be Food is for Fuel.
Yes. Yes, very simple. Very simple. The other thing is, did you guys think any more about your law of replacement? I got an opportunity to take my little grandson this morning out on a 15-minute walk. It was awesome. Awesome. Has anybody else thought about their law of replacement this week?
Angie is saying yes, but I'm not doing it. And then
Kristen. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was messaging with Angie about her water bottle. Because
Yes.
she's about struggling to drink water, which I totally get.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I have the bottle. I have it. I have the bottle, but then I often will use this one. And so I need to go back to the bottle that has the measurements on it, because am I just playing with myself? I'm just
Well, you can alleviate some of that. So I'm drinking hot tea right now.
Mhm.
I mean, this can count. This is about 8 ounces in here, and technically, this could count toward your water if you want.
Yeah.
So, and then also when we think about water, we can also, there's some other ideas, like let's say that for your fruit, you decide that you're going to have, strawberries. All right. You could take water and ice and turn that into a smoothie. Water, ice, and strawberries. And then that's going to give you a different taste. Sometimes I just drink the water plain, but other times I'll put a lot of ice in it to make it super cold, and it feels better. It seems better going down. So those are just some very simple things you can do.
I love the strawberry. I call them strawberry ices. I love them. I'm going to make one today. Yes. What do you guys think about the little 3x5 card? Carrying it with you or posting it. I really make them and I post them because you can bite an elephant one bite at a time. And so 5 days I can, we're always planning and being intentional with our menu 5 days ahead, at least 5 to 7 days ahead. So this really, in many times that I've been through the food fighters, has helped me so much. Because again, I got so distracted today. I completely, at 10:30, it was like, oh, I got to do that. I can't believe I forgot that I was doing that today. Or like someone said over the weekend, they forgot they were on detox, and they did it without even thinking. They took something in without even thinking.
So Pam, I like the cards because when I'm practicing the law of replacement, I like to have on one side, what's my goal or what's my vision for this challenge or this phase, whatever we're in. And then on the other side, I like to put a scripture.
Yes.
There's power in scripture. And when you speak scripture, you're speaking life into it. And so, depending on what my struggle is, at the time, I'll find a scripture that fits that. Like, if if I'm feeling kind of fearful, sometimes we get out in public, right? We're worried. Oh my gosh, am I going to get back in time so that I can have my meal? And
Yes.
we have a
Yeah.
lot of fear. And so I love the scripture that says, we've not been given a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind, and especially the sound mind, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because we can go a little bit cray cray when, when we're in fear or panic mode on this plan.
Okay, Angie, take it away. I think I've said as much as I can say.
Okay. I do want to go back and hit a comment from Nkeshi, because she said
Okay.
something, whether you realize it or not, it was pretty profound. Let me get back to it here. Back it up. Okay, so Nkeshi says, our minds and what we sometimes feel we have to have. So there is a mindset when we're talking about our relationship with food. Sometimes we feel like, well, I'm having to do this. And so when you know that you have to do something, what happens to you? And y'all are welcome to come off mute and just chat. What happens to you when you feel like you have to do something?
Resentment,
like a-
resistance. Go ahead.
Resentment, resistance.
Jennifer?
It feels like a burden. Feels like a burden, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a burden. It's like, right? I mean, it's frustrating. And then, but if we change that to, I want to do this, what happens to you?
Energy.
Yeah, I mean, it's automatically, you're energized. You're doing this because you're honoring a value of freedom, right? You're making a choice in what you're doing. And if you think about this challenge, we are challenging ourselves, and there is something that we want out of this. And so, going back to Pam's question, what is it that you want? What is it that you're trying to go for? I think about what I want. I want, I want to get to a particular number on the scale. That's a given. But I also want sharp mental clarity, because I have a lot of responsibilities right now. We've got the Purple Life Conference coming up, and I want to be obedient to God. And so I cannot afford to be all fogged up, right? So those are things that I want. And because I'm focusing on what I want, the have tos have to just step aside. The have to, I want this and I'm going to get it. I have a goal around this. So any thoughts for you all when I share my own story, what comes to you? What do you want?
I want to live a long life.
You
I
want
want
to
to
live a long life?
no, I don't want to have, I want less pain,
Yeah.
less
I mean,
pain. Yeah.
that's powerful, because when we're not eating on plant, when we're not eating the things that we need to, and we're digging into these other, like, sugary snacks, salty snacks, and all of that, it causes our joints to be in pain. And if you already have osteoarthritis or degenerative changes, or you've been through surgeries, or you're experiencing a major illness, I mean, nobody loves feeling yucky, right? So we do live in choice about, what we're putting in our bodies. Other thoughts? What do you want? Kristen?
Yeah, I think long and strong is what was coming to me. I want to live long and I want to be strong. And so strong physically, mentally, emotionally, which means, the hard stuff that comes doesn't get to win.
Yeah. Yeah, and long and strong, so we can have, did you know that temptation has a friend? and his name is Rationale. Rationale will come to you, Kristen, when you're trying to go long and strong and hit like, man, that's a long time. I mean, that's like a lifetime. Do you really want to do that? So wow, he'll come at you and just, he won't make it all emotional. He'll approach you from logic. Does it really make sense to do that? Does it really make sense for you to be doing this right now with everything that you're going through? I mean, he is a smooth talker, and he'll get you convinced to say, I know that temptation has been coming around, and I know that he's very persuasive, but I think on this one, it's going to be okay if you jump off plan, even for a day. So the way that Rationale comes at you, it's just going to be for a day. And then I don't know about you, but when I have hogged out for a day, to jump back on plan after that is like pushing a boulder up a mountain, right? It's hard. So when we actually give in to that, it's really challenging.
One of my-
go ahead.
Rationale is I've been, self-control is a limited resource. And so the rationale in my head is I've been self-controlled all day, but by the end of the day, I'm just so worn out from being self-controlled that it's just hard to stay self-controlled. And like that excuse will just bubble up, and it's hard to fight.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it's almost like being in like a rigid stance all day long. This is you trying to control it. And then finally you're like, oh, crap, I give up, right? And then you just eat whatever's in front of you. When we really have to, say, well, what am I doing here? What's more important to me? And I don't want to make this some Pollyanna story where you can stay on plan and you will be that way forever and ever, and you'll live happily ever after, right? I mean, it would be awesome. And you may be the all or none kind of gal. You can be the fatalist that says, do or die. We know that there are going to be times when you jump off plan. And sometimes jumping off plan reminds you why you started this to begin with. Because when you even just eat, let's say you have an ice cream cone. Oh gosh, I remember my very first carb load day after I had gone through a whole phase of this, and I got to have ice cream. I wanted Oreo ice cream. I felt like I was going to fall asleep. I felt so sluggish. I had zero energy, and I just felt like I had to go get in the bed. I'm like, this is like a drug. This is like being drugged. I feel like a drug addict right now. And so as you go through this challenge, we're competing against a lot of long-held pre-existing conditions, but we do have the power to talk to those and to shift those and change those. So I see Al in the chat, and I can't remember what your full name is. It Eileen? Eileen? I want to live a long, happy life and look good while doing it. Yeah, I mean, Eileen?
Ellie, yes.
Ellie, okay. All right, very good. Thank you. So, I mean, who here wants to look good? Everybody. I don't know of anybody who doesn't, have put care into their appearance, right? I mean, unless it's before 7 a.m. and we're doing a prayer challenge, and then nobody cares what they look like just as long as they're getting coffee. But eating this plan, I loved hearing the feedback that, oh, my skin is feeling better. My energy is better. We want those things. And and it requires us to discipline ourselves. It requires some discipline on that part. And that means that we got to tell Rationale to go away and to shut up, and we need to be able to have an answer for him. I want to just give it one more shot. Anybody else want to share? What is it that you want? Go ahead and share and declare. And Keshi is saying healthy quality of life. Angie wants a different healthy lifestyle once and for all. Anybody else want to share?
I think for me, you were saying, it's not the Pollyanna story. We're not going to make a decision today and it'll be perfect forever. But to have that control, to always be able to go back and say, like you say, food is not the boss of me. I can have a little, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm not gonna continue down those unhealthy paths. So to like have that control once and for all, to be able to kind of not switch it off and on, but get back, always stay at that higher, level and have fun and party and, have those family celebrations, but like have that line, that limit and the control. So yeah. Self-control.
Yeah, and we're on day 6. We're coming up, so we'll go up to day 10, and then you get to make a choice about what you're going to do on what we call the off-plan day. But what we're not saying on off-plan day is that you just go hog wild and eat everything under the sun. Like you have pancakes and ice cream for breakfast, and then lunch you have 2 cheeseburgers, and it's not that. You really are deciding, A, do I want to go off plan? And B, if I am going to go off plan, what is the one thing that I'm going to just answer the craving for? Because it's going to be like a one-night stand with temptation. And a one-night stand with temptation is like, oh, this seems like a good idea right now and it's going to feel really good. But then you're going to wake up the next morning, you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? I mean, that felt terrible. That was like, and temptation just left me high and dry. And there was no value in that. And by the way, my joints are aching, right? So we learn from experience. And sometimes a little bit of that suffering will help us to be more resolved. So good stuff. All right. So Angie's saying fruit of the spirit, self-control, and that has been an issue with me for so long as it pertains to food. Yeah. And most women I've met, they have that challenge. We're emotional creatures, and sometimes we need a pain pill for emotions, but there are other ways to relieve that pain other than food. So our time is almost up, and I think I'm going to say for tomorrow, we're going to talk about what happens when you are giving in to the salty foods. We talked yesterday about the sugary things and found out what sugar does to us and how it impacts us. But tomorrow we're going to focus on the salt. I'm also going to check in with you to see how it has been going with temptation and now Rationale, who I've introduced to you. I want you to be able to come on tomorrow and let me know, how have you responded to temptation? How have you responded to Rationale? Or what's your plan? How do you combat their strong weapons that they hurl against you, right? Okay, so Jennifer is saying menu question. I know it's not ideal, but can canned chicken work if fresh cooked isn't available? It's better than nothing. The challenge with canned anything is that they usually put a ton of salt in it, which we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. They put a ton of salt in it and preservatives in many cases. And so it's going to cause you some inflammation. You might see a little bit of a fluctuation on the scale, but it will cause inflammation. Yeah. Okay, ladies. Well, I'm going to let you go, and tomorrow is day 7, and we're back to 8 a.m. tomorrow. I know this is a little up and down here, but my schedule, it couldn't be helped with my schedule. So I'll be talking to you tomorrow, and then just looking ahead here. Let's see, Wednesday, Norma is going to be mentoring us. And then Thursday, Catherine is going to be, I can't wait to hear from you ladies. Catherine is a veteran fit and focused gal, and she's got lots and lots of wisdom, along with all the other gals that are talking to you. So I'm looking forward to all of that. All right, ladies, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. All right, bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.